into it here. Last game started a bit awkward. We had to begin the game, as most games, with a pause, as someone had to use the bathroom. And because of said pause, a certain player over here using the bear unfortunately might have misclicked a certain spell at the beginning of the game and, you know, misleveled it. So here we are, now underway into the real game. Let's begin. I'm back, hopefully, with CCNC. Hello, sir.
Yep.
Are you alive?
I'm alive.
Let me turn you up. Okay, I got you. All right. So, bit of a break, but we're back in action now. He's got the appropriate skill leveled up. No more excuses. It is monkeys, though, playing a lone druid, but now I'm already a bit scared. So, based on the lanes they put out here, it looks like they may just sacrifice him. Not sacrifice him, but they're going to pit him against that duo, and it is going to be the Dazzle MSS duo, it looks like, of this bottom lane.
Yeah, they're going to be doing what we expected with Aoi and SVG up top lane, and then Complexity actually going to be going for an aggressive tri lane, so going to try and shut down this Venge early on, as I don't think their tri lane could actually do very much versus the Dazzle and Sand King, and the Lone Druid would have a really rough time versus this dual lane, so I think this is the lane setup that Complexity wants. They won't have an amazing time in either of their side lanes, but I think they'll have a pretty good time in this top lane, even though the Lone Druid will probably suffer down bottom.
We'll see how much Complexity are going to be able to get for themselves, and punishing maybe Aoi through the laning phase, maybe as a bit of revenge from the previous game in his ridiculously scary Ursa. But they're already looking to make an early mark here. Smoked up, Melons and Z-Freak, brothers in crime, moving out, trying to get a smoke. Gank happening here in the mid lane. Can they do it? Envy on Terrorblade. This guy has no natural escape mechanism. They're going to drop the ward just to really make sure they got the vision. He's really far forward. This is probably your best chance. They're going to go for it. Here we go, CCNC. Can they do it? He does not miss. He gets the correct one. They get the torrent. The right clicks are there. They should be able to do it. The body blocks. Connecting well. He's trying to run. He goes down. Cancel's going to snipe it with the raise. It's a successful first blood gank on the mid lane. Man.
Yeah, that was pretty close. He almost lived there. Not the worst thing in the world is he just sort of TP'd back to lane and didn't skill the Metamorphosis level 1 and waste it. I think that's maybe what the Complexity are going for, try and kill him right when he pops that, so he doesn't have that for the next, you know, the first 2 or 3 waves. Cancel also not having to skill up raise, so not getting the bunch of souls for getting the kill. So not the worst thing in the world for Envy, and we'll TP back in with that Quelling Blade.
Envy will now pop his new pickup of Metamorphosis, though, and be able to zone back cancel quite a bit. Our brothers have rotated now to the top lane and are looking to shake things up towards the pool side now, things, as SVGs they're trying to work it about. Aoi will try to leech some of the XP nearby, as Moo will get involved. This is going to be a bit agitating here for MP, and in particular SVG, but it's not looking to kind of get caught on the bad side of a disruption setup. So keeping good distance there. And for the bottom lane, look at Rose, man. He's going in on this bear. He wants 300 gold. Oh, not able to get the connection there. Just zoning him back all the way as he's trying to pull the wave up under the tower.
Yep. He's having a pretty decent time so far. And this bottom lane things will start to get a little bit rougher now that MSS has boots. I'm going to have level 2 in the stun, so I'm going to be able to maybe try and threaten a kill. But as of now, SVG, which is walking deeper in, probably going to plan with the Bounty Rune here. And I think Complexity not too sad about how things are going so far, as we expected. Now we're having a rough time up here so far.
Okay, they're making their move for him. They hit him with the Disruption, a Soul Catcher, a Torrent, and an easy kill will be there. That's the takedown into the Venge, and looking for a follow-up. The X now, leveled up from Z-Freak, gets the pullback for SVG, and they're also going to get that one. Double kill for Melons as Complexity hit MP hard with a nice 3-0 start. Envy's going to be able to grab the top lane Arcane Rune. This is the one good thing going for MP, though, is that Envy is doing work in the mid lane. 15-9 to Cancel's 8-1.
Yeah,
so he was first-blooded.
Yeah, he is. He's having a very nice time here. It's super hard to harass this Terrorblade at all with the 13 armor and 4-man shield as an SF with just, you know, 40-something damage level 1. At a certain point, once the cancel gets like level 5 or so, it's going to be pretty hard for the Terrorblade to stay in lane. It's going to get raised down. We'll start to have some damage issues. Not last hitting wise, but you know, trying to deny becomes futile versus the raises. And we'll probably head to the jungle, but it is sort of hard for NP to send anybody to stop up the XP whenever he does go to the jungle because they are getting pressured so hard top.
Yeah.
Rose actually leaving bottom lane, leaving SS to solo so they cannot get totally massacred up in this top lane.
How does that fare? I know that we're going to probably have to keep sights in this top lane as it's a 3-on-3 and already looking to swing. Magic Missile, there's a good stun combo. Move comes out and they hit him with the poison. Now SVG though, man, that Soul Catcher, so much amp damage. SVG just can't handle it. Turns back, gets the stun, will end up going down. Moo though, in the line of fire here. Able to pop the wand, survives a bit. Rose still looking to go on the chase on the other side of things. Z-Freak might have to go for the neutral deny, can't get it there. Owie will get the pick off, looks for a second one, moves in, gets the wave off to Swindle. SVG's back from the dead and looking for revenge. He gets the stun onto Swindle, but Swindle's still running, man. Woo! They get him. SVG with the range hacks will pull it off there. Just a ridiculous bar fight in this top lane.
Yeah, with the win lane, just barely gets in range there. Envy, talked about earlier, is having a great time mid, popping his second Metamorphosis up to 26 last hits, now level 5. You can see this harass starting to weigh in as Cancel just getting a clarity ferried out even and just sort of spamming raises every time EE walks into range.
I wanted to quickly see how things are going for MSS. He was the one that was left to the bottom lane to go mano-y-mano against Monkeys in his bear. MSS is matchup even as far as CS, but you know, Monkeys' levels are starting to come in a bit. I wonder if they switch to Monkeys Lone Druid when they want that 2017 Lone Druid and they let Moo play the old school one, you know? I'm curious to see the build-up that Monkeys goes for this game. I bet he's going to go for the, you know, new age range Lone Druid.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It can be for pretty. You need a lot of farm on that on the range Lone Druid for it to do that much. And with a Weaver in your team as well, maybe Moo will play more of a sacrificial role this game. I'm kind of curious what he goes for because you know we haven't seen Monkeys play Lone Druid in the past, and having a Weaver and a Lone Druid in your team is it's very, very farm intensive cores, especially having a Shadow Fiend as well.
Well, you have two supports who are happy to kind of create space for you. They just don't stop finding action here. Top lane. They got that earlier pickup on Rose, who's already back in the lane. They do a committed dive, looking to go for Owie, but they almost feed themselves over. Swindle going to be going down first, and it could be Z-Freak next here. But they're eating a lot of damage too. Rose very low, the bug nipping him in the feet. Gonna get the finish there. Moo with a double kill now. X pull back into Torrent on for Owie, locks him under the tower, eats a few more pot shots coming out from Moo. And Complexity really taking advantage of this top lane. Now pulling themselves ahead 7-3. Moo's getting in a lot of the action. Hasn't really spent too much time CSing, but is definitely getting his hands dirty. He's 4-0-2 already.
Yeah, this top lane is really not going how they wanted to for NP. Getting so many kills. Looks like SVG may go down again.
Dodge the bugs. He did, but it doesn't matter. I don't even know if he did. Doesn't matter. He's dead. That's, man, Swindle makes easy connection there, and he's putting the extra points also into Soul Catcher. They're not looking to go for any poison this game. It's all on the disruption and the amplification of the damage doing work this early game.
Yeah, they're rotating in on Rose as well, so like we talked about, Envy going back to the jungle and letting support here to take the XP, but they are going to gank him. Make sure to get that free XP and levels while Envy is out of the lane. So it's just TP out, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it was very scary, but with no stuns, he will make it out just fine here. Z-Freak now to the top lane. He's getting close to his level 6, and having that boat would just be so sweet in this game. Adds more team fight to the table, good damage, and of course can't forget the good rum for that little bit of extra durability. Yeah, you see Z-Freak playing up here with Moo, sort of like back in the old days with the coL with Justin on it. They'd almost always be like sort of paired up in this dual off lane. Sort of harkening back to those days whenever they'd always be putting pressure in the enemy safe lane, try and win that lane, and then leave everyone else to the wolves. Oh, jump bottom lane. MSS gets to go onto Monkeys, but that's when Complexity look to break out towards this top lane. We see Melons and Z-Freak looking to land their combo, and they will. Owie very low here, and Moo will help get the finish. Mega kill for him. This does come after, again, that takedown of MSS getting the jump onto the bottom lane with some company. They will get the takedown of the Lone Druid and make it a tier 1. As a trade, coL will get the same thing in the top.
A nice rotation from Envy was farming up in these camps by the Ancients, and then immediately runs down here once he realizes, hey, they're probably making a move towards top. AOI was, buried up in the trees and threw out a wave of terror to try and pull the aggro off, but they dive him and he goes down again as he does TP down to bottom, so pairing up with the line, they're going to go try and make a move as he knows he can't really farm up in this top lane anymore, sort of like what happened to Moo last game. Whenever you lose your all control of your safe lane like that super early on, they have a lot of kill potential, you sort of have to just run around and try and make other stuff happen.
Now we bottom lane, smoked up, and it becomes so awkward for Revenge too. She's not even a big jungle farmer, if you will. So if you're not in a side lane showing yourself farming, you're probably out making the gank happen. And that is the case now, is paired up with SVG, hoping for Monkeys to just slightly overextend. But even under his own tower, it's not safe. They come in from behind, they're going to be connecting with all sorts of stuns. And even though they stack, it's plenty of firepower to be able to get the finish here. But Cancel shows up, and another TP was forced out, though not committed. They'll just take the one lone druid down and walk away.
Yeah, TP was a little bit too long as Cancel had TP'd first, so wasn't able to get that X off. They are barely able to slip away, so MSS already up to that Blink Dagger, having like a super free lane down here, having Rose start down with him, and then getting the tower, getting a couple of kills on Monkeys with some nice rotations. So now has the Blink Dagger, and they'll probably give AOI this lane as they're going to pull this hard camp and try and reset the lane a little bit back, so giving AOI some space. Maybe MSS just going to farm this, finish up his Blink, and then go around the map and try and make some space for AOI to catch up.
Yeah, definitely time to take some fights here for MP. Time to get this Venge to swell up. She's on a good timing window here. But coL also on their own move. Smoked. And heading towards the southern part of this map. SVG is also nearby with his own little Invis rune. So close to just popping the smoke there of coL. But coL coming in deep. They plant down a ward. Scouting one of the side camps here from NP. And even one behind the tier 1. Alright then. They could end up rolling all the way down and making an approach coming in from behind of MP. We're on the high ground here. Z-Freak goes right down the middle. MSS is waiting within the pocket and could quickly strike with a huge epicenter if coL are not careful. They're running in. They're looking to go for Owie. Owie swaps back. There's a disruption. MSS is charging it up. He's going to be going in and hitting onto coL. Onto 3. They get cracked. SVG blasts him down with a finger, and Cancel should also be going down. He turns back with the raise, but will also get popped. Oh, Complexity lose 4 just like that. They were able to get the takedown of Owie, but it cost them so much.
Yeah, it was like a chiropractic session, getting cracked and popped all over the place.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Now, with those kills, they're going to get the 2-2 bottom as well, so they're going to have a lot more space around here in the enemy jungle. As like I said, you don't want to let that happen. They're going to bring people down. They still have the boat on Z-Freak. Did get used in that last fight.
It might not get used yet, because they just spotted him, stunned him, and killed him. There will be no boat in this fight either. Melons tries to come in to help out his brother, and quickly realizes there's a Terrorblade there, and 180s, but MSS putting in the work with this Blink Dagger that he earned himself through that laning stage has set up another wonderful kill here for MP. Etching now ahead 11-10. All the momentum going their way. This has not been a safe place for Monkeys to return to. He in top lane, he's been avoiding all this trouble in all this fight and trying to get back into the grind of farm here. And he is also going for the bear build, it would appear, as he has a Midas on the bear.
Yeah, he does have a Midas. Isn't playing in the melee form like Moo was last game, so we'll have to see if he's just going for Midas and then trying to scale a little bit better as the game goes later.
That's true.
But MP taking like all those fights down there is absolutely huge for them. It's now they can get these deeper wards down, and they can sort of play around in this bottom lane. MSS shoving out this top lane, and MP most probably gonna try and migrate back down to here, play in this area, maybe wrap around this mid tower, and they just have a lot more options now. This tower's down. AY is catching up, trying to get up to that HOD so he can have a little bit more impact in these fights. The extra regen will help out as well.
Here comes coL towards the mid lane, sieging away out of tier 1. Not yet for MP to be at attendance here. Looks like Envy has finished off his Dragon Lance, an item that was almost made perfect for someone like Terrorblade. This guy is so like skinny. He had like 800 life until he picked up that item. So now with 1100 to kind of go along with his ridiculous amount of armor. Just overall makes him a bit more meatier. And now he can move in. Sunder's up, ready to go. Metamorphosis, the real ultimate, ready to go. And they've drawn out their game plan, looking to pincer in onto coL right in this mid lane. Envy could show himself. coL are in a decent position to head into the high ground. They get hit with the weave. They turn around with the disruption. But he was not in that metamorph, so he's going to be able to step back. Boat will fly out, but it crosses right in front of him. Cancel, eating a lot of damage. Looks to go for the Requiem. Will be able to get it off, but loses his life right after. And coL, just like that, will drop 2. MP round back to look over the tier 1, and they could combo it into a tier 2 takedown on top of it. And just swell up even further in net worth.
Yeah, you can see Cancel actually going for the mech on Shadow King, something we haven't seen for some time, but realizing that we have two kind of greedy right-clicking cores who wants to go for more of a fighting build and help, give them actually a shot in these team fights. But with MSS getting such a good start and now gonna lose first tier 2 of the game at 15.5 minutes or 14.5 minutes, it's not really gonna have the greatest of impacts, as he kind of falls behind on damage versus Terrorblade versus Avenge, just naturally tiny heroes.
Top lane, they made their move onto Monkeys. We'd seen how long MSS had been stalking them, and they're finally going to be able to strike with a +1 rotation. Now, back in that mid lane, a trade's happening here as Complexity maybe pushing in there with their advantage in numbers. It's not going to be able to get the catch on anyone. It's just MP getting another big takedown, leading with 2 ahead in terms of net worth. It's Envy at the top, no surprise there, but MSS just right behind him. Very farm Sand King, man. He got that Blink Dagger, and he's been involved in what feels like almost everything. 3-0 and 7 for the Sand King.
Yeah, and AUI, after that terrible start, losing his tower super early on, was part of a couple good rotations. They had some really nice team fights because MSS getting that blink super early on, and now basically just 1k behind, not even that, behind the Weaver, who had such a nice laning phase, as able to push out this top lane. Like we talked about earlier, NP with these really nice deep wards they got down after pressuring this bottom tier 2 and now taking mid tier 2, they can see where all of Complexity is moving. They know they're over by this Ancients area, they're playing by this top tower, so EE is able to farm in this bottom lane really aggressively. They're going to pressure this tower, maybe even take it as SVG moves down here and slowly working towards his blink, has 900 gold now on him.
And MP were able to fight around using their own wards. Complexity got their own nice aggressive wards down in that bottom lane, but the problem is that the fight was never there. MP were never putting themselves down there. Bao, top lane, stun set up, the boat will come out. Nice connection from Z-Freak, will help Mu out a bit too. And MSS looks to make the call to TP away, but the Savage Roar going to be there for Monkeys, cancels it out. They're going to get the root onto Owie. Curtis going to be dropped. They will be able to get Z-Freak down, but MSS will be taken care of next. Even Cancel looking to rotate in. Him and Swindle in action now. All 4 who are alive from Complexity here in the top lane, but there's a push coming in from the bottom. Here's SVG. Looks like Envy is going to not participate in this push. Simply sends in his illusion. coL will take the tier 2 top lane, and that will probably be the end of it. But the first promising fight for coL in a while is a simple 2-man takedown.
Yeah, it is, another tower up in that top lane, which, is sort of an area they already had control of, so not really the biggest deal in the world for NP losing that tower. They would much rather, take this mid tower or the bottom one so they can sort of start playing around this bottom side of the map, but not to be, as they still have both those tier 1 standing, as NP stay around this area, continue to just farm up, has the Yasha now, as well as 1700 gold, so working towards that Manta. And did get an illusion rune as well, so maybe he's gonna try and hold that until he has the Manta, and then go for a sort of a timing push with the Manta and the illusion rune. As Complexity only has towers staying in their top lane, so I think NP very happy with how the game is going so far, despite losing a couple heroes in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely a time for nourishment now for MP if they want to farm up and coast their way into those next few items. coL more in a farm anything you can find at this moment in time. Where's Monkeys at? Okay, Radiance and Q. It's a Radiance bear. Regardless of changing the player, it seems like the bear will stay the same here. Top lane. Z-Freak makes his move for Owie. Gets the swap as the X comes out, but it gets rooted. Plus they had the Savage Roar. Owie's not going to be going anywhere except to the afterlife. See you later, Owie. Here comes MSS though. Steps up to play him and Envy in a Metamorph and the Epicenter. As they try to get the finish onto Monkeys, they will get it. SVG assists and steps in with the finger. Now Z-Freak should be going down. And MP make a much better and more worthier trade. Oh, they tried to go with the Burrow. X will pull him back, but response play from NP Yeah, it does cost them a couple of ultimates here. They will just quickly try to make the most out of this metamorphosis by rushing towards this tier 1 and finishing off.
Yep, and bringing in the Lone Druid before he picks up the Radiance, obviously a huge kill. Until he has that, really just isn't that useful. The hero just has to sort of sit back and farm, isn't able to do too much around the map. But AOI going down again, so 5 deaths now on him. His item progression has been pretty stifled since we talked a little bit earlier how he had caught up so well, but now going down a couple of times, pushing in that top lane. Not the most farmed hero in the game, but they do at least have Envy to sort of play that more of a late game oriented hero this game.
Mild bit of harassment here on the Rose, nothing too troublesome for him. But yeah, the real core and carry at the moment is Envy. You know, I don't know how much Aui's going to be able to find his way to still be a big factor on this Vengeful Spirit, who does typically have an earlier power peak than a lot of the cores, but should be able to offer great sieging potential as they make an approach to Complexity's base. She can still offer a lot of damage towards that like tier 3 tower, along with Envy, who is got his Manta now complete and is content in pushing through this bottom lane. We'll look at Moo here for Complexity side, a Lincoln Sphere set to be complete. He's inching closer and closer to it. Can't rely fully on the defensive capabilities on just Swindle and Z-Freak there to help him out.
Yep, and an NP taking these towers down on the bottom lane, getting control of that really early on. Super nice for SVG, because he was able to just sit down there and farm that lane. You don't really want to just run down there and gank him with, you know, your Kunkka Shadow Demon, because it's just a line, and there could be people behind him. You still only have like 1 or 2 heroes showing. And so then he's able to just sit down there and calmly farm a blink, and there's not too much you can do about it. So has that online in only 20 minutes, even after that terrible start they had. So
yeah,
Moo, until he has that Lincoln's picked up, has got to be pretty careful as they migrate up the top lane.
This is going to be a blink debut and a good one too. It looks like they've already made their jump though for Aui. It could turn into a bit of a bait though if they can't get the finish fast already. The rest of MP show up to play. Z-Freak already heading out. Moo though on the other side, he had changed out his TP from his backpack and is looking for a place to be able to use it here. Aui shows up to the mid lane, but they are not going to be able to get the catch. Instead, they'll head up and over through their shrine. Are they going to go for the D ward? No, they can't see it up there. Oh, yeah, they will. Okay, they take care of that, but Roche is up. Envy pops Metamorphosis, and I think we know what he wants to get.
Yeah. He had the Arcane Rune as well whenever he popped the Metamorphosis, so perfect timing right before the Arcane Rune wore off. So even after they get this Roche on, he would head into a push very, shortly afterwards if they want to.
Easy Roche, no trouble at all. Moves around the corner, but has to be careful. There are wards actually just on that high ground for MP. It looks like he will be able to weasel on by. But it looks like it's time for Complexity to start thinking about just split pushing these side lanes and hiding indoors for a high ground defense. Not the best position you want to be in here when you still have a lot of farm you want to be getting. Where's Monkey's at? The Radiance is now done. And now he has the option to kind of use that bear to help these lanes push out on the side a little bit, but I was going to say, do you feel like it's like too little too late at this point in time?
I think it's really nice for, getting the Radiance on the bear because it doesn't get copied by the reflections, so you aren't Radiance burning your team down whenever he pops that reflection, whereas, if he was the range farm, then he'd just kind of beat himself to death. So I think that's pretty nice for them, that the Radiance isn't going to get reflected by the Terrorblade. Obviously, the Lone Druid, the Radiance Lone Druid good versus them in that aspect. Going to give them mischance to all the illusions and give them a little bit extra damage, which is something they're kind of lacking. Moo went for this Lincoln's, Dragonlance Lincoln, so doesn't have the Death, so doesn't have the Maelstrom Mjolnir, which he typically goes for afterwards. So still working up towards that. They're kind of low on damage now as it is. So you can see NP, AOI actually going for the Shadow Blade, so giving them another means of trying to start these fights. They know they're strong right now and they really do want to fight. NP pushing in this bottom lane. I'm going to TP mid now, so maybe even looking to go high ground because they realize we're going to start getting split up by this Weaver and, Radiant Lone Druid cutting waves before too long. They'll look for a pick-off or just walking down one of these lanes before too long as NP realizes how strong they are. Just knowing.
Yeah, not looking to use their power quite yet, it would appear. SVG is pretty close to Melons here in the bottom lane as he's pushing out one of these side lanes. He's already been down here plenty to farm up that blink. Uh-oh, mid lane. Torrent raises. That's a quick dazzle snipe there from Complexity. Let's see if they want to take a fight out of it here. MSS stuns out the bear. Envy commits with the Metamorph and is able to burst it down. Takes the 300 gold. Moo looks to swing it up. The boat is going to get connected. The Savage Roar. Envy runs back behind the tower. And now he's going to get some assistance here. MSS pops out this pipe. And now MP can look to move in with a fight. MSS sets it up with the burrow. And they blast down with the finger and take out Cancel. Now the swap back. Looking to get another bear down. Another 300 gold. Meanwhile, Owie trading blows with Moo. They will get the Aegis taken out here. Envy very low, turns around, uses the Sunder onto SVG to get a second life. And now MP charges their way down this mid lane. They don't have an Aegis, but with that cancel takedown, they can try to force out a buyback and begin their siege.
And that is one of the drawbacks of having the Radiance on the bear and having all of your gold committed to just the summons is whenever it goes down twice, you're just not really a hero for 70 seconds, and it did. So Monkeys doesn't have that bear, and not going to be super useful for this upcoming time. At the very least, MP doesn't have the Metamorphosis, so I doubt they're going to be going high ground right now. But not the greatest of fights for Complexity. See Cancel going down again, and going the mech and the Hurricane Pike is pretty low on damage. Going for more of that utility SF, just being sort of this frontliner, and doesn't really have a lot of damage, so relying more on Moo for that as the game goes later and later, as he is going to be going for that Maelstrom like we talked about. Doesn't typically like to buy the Death Star and the Weaver like some other players do.
Yeah.
So Complexity do kind of have some damage issues, as we saw in that last fight.
I mean, it'll be nice to have the benefit of, I guess, one Soul Catcher if it does connect, but you're right. Like, no Z-Freaks here for boat, defense, Torrent, and everything else really falls on either the Shadow Fiend or the Lone Druid when he has his bear, and then obviously Moo. But it's not the easiest here, as MP have been able to kind of continue to jump in and out. That fight very forgiving for coL. It was very beneficial to be able to kind of get Rose out of the fight first and foremost, because, I mean, imagine if that was a fight where they had a good weave out with Grave keeping him alive, the heals constantly popping out, a Solar Crest being used. It would be very difficult. MP probably not looking to get themselves in a situation where they'll be down that man early again.
Yep. MSS actually going for the pipe on the Sand King, not something we typically see on the hero, but mitigates a lot of their damage. And it looks like he has the Shivas queued up as well, so sort of going for this damage mitigation build. Realizing how kind of the issues Complexity have, that as the game goes later, if they don't really have an answer for this Terrorblade, he can kind of just beat Buddy down, and there's not too much they can do about it. The bear is going to fall off quite hard versus Terrorblade as the game goes later, as he can just crush it super quickly, and Cancel may go down mid.
Okay, Cancel. I mean, I don't know how many ults you can survive through. Not that many. He's blasted. MP happy to commit what they can, if that means getting the Shadow Blade taken out of the game as they make their approach now. MV has his Metamorphosis ready to go. No excuses. Now it's time for Complexity to fabricate some sort of defensive game plan here. MP are now in the bottom site. There's the Metamorphosis. And MV begins to go to work. Fortification probably going to be forced out here within a moment. There it goes. And they'll just let the big guy go to work. Creep wave going to be quickly dissolved. Tier 3 going to be down. And now they're going in for the Rex here. Complexity need to defend, need to hold, need to take this game back if they want to survive in this tournament. Otherwise, they're going to be at risk of not qualifying, not moving on into the finals. Pipe popped here. MP very satisfied. Get their big win, walk away. And Complexity moving forward, trying to see if they can pick off anyone trying to run out. And he moves back in. They're going to pull him back with the X, and that's when they turn on to Moo here. He's in trouble. Gets off the time lapse. Tries to rush in, get the finish for SVG, who's able to blink and make it away. The Gemini attack will get the finish, but that's when Envy looks to open up. Lincoln's going to be popped out. Moo still able to scatter away from trouble. Here comes Cancel. Here comes Z freaking Swindle. All looking to surround Envy. Rose barely able to survive. Gets its own grave. Goes for the TP. Not going to be able to make it out. He gets slashed down. Envy going to be going next. Gets off the Sunder, but that's when the boat drives it home. And Complexity take their biggest fight, it feels like, of the game, punishing MP on the way out from their bottom lane push.
Yeah, Complexity doesn't really have a way to jump them whenever they're just sitting at the base like that. Other than this, you know, just landing a torrent boat and then sort of chasing them down, which is what happened there. That's really the best way they have to take these fights is they wait till the Metamorphosis is wearing out, a couple heroes to TP out, I think MSS is TP to push out top, AOI TP'd as well, and they did bring down Monkeys as he split pushed this top lane. In the meanwhile, but Complexity chasing them down with multiple X's, Moo getting, you know, just dozens and dozens of right clicks off, and that's really how they have to take these fights, because whenever you have Weaver, Shadow Fiend, and you know, Lone Druid as your cores, you don't really have a way to just jump in and start these fights. You're sort of reliant on NP going maybe a little bit too far in and chasing them slowly down over time, but Monkeys did actually get the tier 3 down top, so they have access to these shrines.
Yeah. That's a pretty nice takedown there for Complexity, and when they weren't even able to get the tier 2 down yet in the mid lane, now they totally remove an access point from MP. Would have been nice to if it was the other shrine, one closer to the Roche pit side, but money is money here for coL at this point in time. And now we're going to be seeing some new items trickle in. The bear beginning to swell up a bit further. He's going for that AC buildup. Lotus has been complete here for Z-Freak. Really nice to help get rid of any sort of maybe like Solar Crest debuffs or Hex, whatever kind of trouble. Speaking of taking down shrines, MP going to take down some shrines themselves, it looks like, because they make their own go onto the Complexity side. They'll get this done, and then, I don't know, is there any comfortable opportunity for MP to push once again without, you know, fighting and getting an Aegis?
I think they either want to look for a pickoff or some sort of a fight outside the base before they just force high ground, because like we saw before, really the only way Complexity to take fights that easily is if they're, you know, NP just sort of walks up to the high ground and then gets chased back out of the base as, you know, get their supports picked off one by one, get bugs caught on them so they can't blink away on SVG, which is what happened in the last fight. He had the bug on him and sort of got stuck there. I had to turn and hit it and got brought down. So I think NP gonna be looking to take a fight outside the base or just wait till that Roshan, like you said, before they try and head to the high ground once again.
They really want to make sure they can get themselves as much space as possible to secure probably the finish of it as they waddle their way down this mid lane. It will be up in just a few seconds here. Mid lane's pushed in. We look to see what MP decide to do here. Monkeys is pushing out this top lane. Still a tier 1 standing there. Maybe NPC it now and are like, we should probably go take care of that. As they start to head that way, Finger right onto Melons. They'll take out the Shadow Demon, who promptly buys back, and he'll TP right into the shrine where the fight is about to happen here. Can they get the chase here? Purge is going to be onto Owie. They try to scoot out with the help of the Force Staff. The pipe's going to get popped. The Bear's looking to move in and just get shredded apart as Envy turns it around with a Metamorph. Now moving in with a big epi combo and a burrow and a stun all here. Can they get the finish? Looking to go for Monkeys. The Lotus Storm gets applied, but it's not going to be good enough. Cancel, dishing out the Requiem. Gets sundered. Envy stays alive with the help of the Grave and now looks to right-click him home and takes him down. Moo is gone, or rather, Monkeys is gone. Moo is alive, but it's only him and it's only Swindle on the back of his buyback here. Complexity, not the fight they were hoping to be able to take. NP should be able to easily take their shrine, a tier 2 top lane, the Roche if they'd like, but with 40 seconds they may be able to kind of even push it towards the base here.
Yeah,
Light of heaven, seriously, stop clicking on the shrine.
They lose the gem as well that Swindles is bought, so gonna have all their vision taken away after losing that fight. Moo does have time lapse, should be fine. Oh, they have the gem onto Rose, just out of range.
Oh, they'll get him. He's a slippery little bug. They'll finally squish him right under their foot. 70 seconds, no buyback. They may not know that, but they're gonna go and see if they can force it out.
Yep, no meta, but with the Vengeance aura and just the amount of items on this Terrorblade, they still take down these buildings extremely quickly, but looks like they are going to play it safe, not knowing if he has buyback or not, and going to go take the Roshan. The gem cleaning up the last of Complexity's wards, so now no vision outside of just where these creep waves are, and NP in a very dominant position after they're going to be getting this Aegis.
Oh yeah, extra life here for Envy. And NP now could be just one push away from a rematch against DC here in the finals coming up next. We'll see though. Complexity not looking to go down. They have already achieved so much in this qualifier, pulling out some good upsets, revealing some new strategies, showing that they are more finely tuned. The team that has a chef, the only team I think that has a chef, I don't know. Maybe that's the secret. But for now, just knowing that this is, one of their best chances to get in some prime experience, because the next qualifier that could be rolling into town is probably going to be the Kiev qualifier, so. Or they will probably run into NP again soon.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing with these qualifiers is, remember, there's just a few really good teams like there are for NA. There's NP, DC, and Complexity. DC maybe a tier or a half a tier above as they get invited to some lands based on their past results.
Yeah.
And also just how they do in these matches. NP or DC almost always comes out just a little bit on top above these other teams, but they are on a very similar tier, and that sort of thing. Whenever you come to these qualifiers, just qualifier after qualifier, you have to beat the Complexities and NPs to get into these tournaments.
And then you have like those teams that casually roll in with some super stacks, ones that have been playing together a little bit longer like Onyx, and then some of the newer ones like your Wanteds that maybe have not played together a lot as a team, but are just very talented and could still pull out upsets against, like we saw DC in this qualifier. Swap for Owie. Oh man, blinking and missing. Swindle's gone. No buyback for him. Complexity will have to defend, possibly their last defense as a foursome. They quickly lose Monkeys. The Lone Druid going to be taken out of this move. Could be one of the last hopes here for coL to try to hold it out between him and Cancel. It's not going to be easy. Popped up pipe, and the call has already been made. Complexity have been eliminated from the DAC qualifier. It is going to be NP scooting into the finals to face DC for the one spot to head off to China and compete at LAN.
Yeah, NP, I think, had probably a superior draft in both